Wind the window up. As soon as I start filming. Alright, leave it. Every time I start filming, somebody interrupts me like instantly. We're 32 seconds in. Anyway, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing air conditioning. Now that might sound quite boring, could be quite boring to some people, but it's like a commonly asked question.
Hi, my air conditioning's not working. Could I have a regas?
That was the role play of a telephone conversation with a customer. Well, the answer is yes, we can regas the car, but is that what's wrong with the car? I thought we'd do a video on air conditioning, the process of doing a regas, carrying out a leak test on the vehicle, explain a bit of how it works, how much is it to fix it. Paula's new camper van project, the air conditioning does not work. That's air conditioning on, leave it running for a bit. It's just blowing outside air. First of all, you've got to determine, is your aircon just not as cool as it should be, or is it blowing outside air temperatures? If it's blowing outside air temperature, you've got no gas in your system, basically. Commonly asked question, can't you just regas it? Well, the answer is yes, we can. Is that going to fix the problem? If the vehicle hasn't got a leak and the gas hasn't escaped, yes, it will. It'll need a regas. But you cannot presume that that is what it needs. Where's that gas gone? There's lots of components in an air conditioning system. There's lots of lines, there's lots of seals. So basically, we're going to take you through the process. Let's get on with it. Alright, so first thing we need to do is determine, is there any gas in it whatsoever? We need to find the air conditioning ports, which are here and one here, very close together. Thought this video might come in handy at this time of year because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there whose air conditioning isn't working. That's why I've got my shorts on. I feel like I've got dressed out a lost property. You know, when you're at school and you forgot your shorts and that. Because I've got like a merchandise t-shirt on because it's a bit thinner than the official uniform, and some old shorts, yeah. So apologies for the outfit. I like to think I usually look more professional. However, if you want to buy a t-shirt, get on the online shop. Air conditioning machine connected. We don't need to plug it in. We do not need electricity for this. And as you can see, we've got 0 bar in the gauges. There's no gas in this system. The reason we need to check that first is if there was signs of gas, we need to extract it before we can do the nitrogen test. Air conditioning systems, providing my memory's good, when I did my NVQ. When I did my air conditioning qualification, I'm pretty sure, somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, an air conditioning system can lose up to 60 grams of gas per year. So say if a modern vehicle holds 600 grams worth of gas, after 5 years maybe, you might notice it's not as cold as it used to be. After 7 years, it might be really not that good at all. This car's 15 years old. It's got 0 gas in it whatsoever, so the chances of this just requiring a regas is slim. So next job is another piece of equipment, the nitrogen test. So this, as I explained, we'll fill it up with nitrogen, fill it up to probably 10-15 bar worth of pressure, leave it on for a couple of hours until the pressure drops. If the pressure doesn't drop over 2 or 3 hours, that's usually a good sign it's leak tight. So when people say, oh, can I just nip in for a regas? And we say, well, we'll need it all day, they get a bit upset. Lots of people say, oh, well, Halford said they can do it in half an hour. Even if they can do it, if you drop your car off at 1 o'clock and they said it'd be ready at 1:30 for a regas, that's still not right, even if you've not got a leak, because we'll get to this later on in the video, but that's just literally filling your car with gas. It's not doing a vacuum test, it's not extracting moisture out of the system to make sure it's running as efficiently as possible. But we'll go through that as we get along in the video. We'll go through some prices of what to expect to pay for this type of thing. Well, straight away, a nitrogen test. I think we charge £40. That is to determine have you got a leak or not. And like I say, we can leave this on 2, 3, 4 hours to be 100% we've not got any leaks. So let's fill it with nitrogen. So bottle open, I'm going to fill it up now. So we'll stop it there. So that is 10, 11, 12, 13 bar. Well, this has got a massive leak. See how fast that's dropping? So I set it, I'll do it again, above the red line, so I can position that wherever I want. So I'll put it there to allow a little bit of leeway, and that is going down really quickly. Well, that's good. I mean, in this case, that's an instant fail. So this should be more simple to find. Faster the leak, the easier it should be to find. So now you get back on the phone to the customer, can't regas the car because it's got a leak. So guess what they say then?
How much is it to fix a leak?
Well, we don't know. We now need to investigate, spend some labour and figure out what's leaking. As you can imagine, on the front of this car, all the air conditioning system is covered. So we're going to have to take the grill off to expose the air conditioning condenser. Maybe take the bumper off, I'm not sure. Let's find it basically. Nathan's took the grill off, which you can see it's exposed a bit of the condenser. The condenser is behind the fans. So the fans kick in when the air conditioning pressure reaches a certain pressure. The fans kick in to bring the pressure back down. Missed a bit of a trick there. We're going to spray it with soapy water. Going to fill it back up with nitrogen, spray it with soapy water until we can find a leak. There's only so much we can access. We could be looking at bumper off, definitely fans out if the condenser is leaking, which is the most common item, I would say, to fail. Airbox out, crash panel out. Let's have a look, see if we can see anything without taking the fans out, because we are obviously cautious of labour times if the condenser is leaking. And we tell that the customer, we give them a price and they don't want it. We don't want to waste too much time looking for a leak. So sometimes I'll say, look, worst case scenario, you're looking at a condenser. Should it be that? Is that something you'd be looking to have done? Yeah, so we're back down to 5 bar. So let's fill it back up. I'm going to keep the bottle running rather than switch it off so we can, it's going down that quickly. Can you see that? Yeah. Bubbling? So good news, well, not good news. Is it good news? No. Good news, we've discovered it wants a condenser without taking too much stuff off. We've only took the grill off, so not too much labour at all there. It needs a condenser, as I explained earlier in the video. This is Paula's soon-to-be new camper van. She wants the air conditioning working. There's nothing worse than driving around in summer with no aircon, especially in a van, because it's like a tin box.
Oh, it's too warm for me. Oh, it's warm. I like it warm, but I don't like it this warm.
Air conditioning is not cheap to fix unless it's a regas. That's why everybody says, can't you just regas it? I wish it was that simple. Absolutely roasting yesterday, so I've come in with me.
I mean, it's still hot today.
Proper dad outfit on. It's like my dad outfit.
Nice.
Making some progress. Ooh, look at that. That'll be why our parking sensors don't work. Nothing to do with air conditioning, but if you have a look down here, the wire that goes to that parking sensor's been rubbing against something all corroded. That needs stripping back and repairing before we put it back together. I was getting a 2-in-1. It's Dylan. Oh, is it important? Are you important? Is that work? Oh, he's had a missed call off you.
Yeah, probably back to garden.
Right, while Nathan's on the phone in works time talking to his mates, he's got the front bumper off. We've got the electric fans out. Electric fans are a bit of a struggle to get out. We've took the bumper off. I'm glad we have, because we found this parking sensor issue. I have a feeling we could have possibly done it without, because it's coming out the back. It gives us a lot more room to get to the nuts and bolts and stuff, I suppose. This here, if you come around here, you can get a better look at the condenser. And you can see why that's the most common place to go, because you're driving along, that's the first thing. All the wind hits, the rain hits, it just corrodes. I mean, you can see all these leaves and stuff. It's quite badly corroded in that section. That's not got much life left in it. Condensers aren't cheap, and that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the end of your issues either. So obviously once this condenser's replaced, We then need to pressure test it again. That's the obvious leak, but with leaks with anything, whether it's your plumbing in the house, air conditioning on your car, cooling systems on your car, it's going to leak out of the weakest point. Once that's done, we need to pressure test again and make sure there's no leaks anywhere else and not just presume that's the end of it. We've opted for, which we don't really like doing, a aftermarket condenser. I think that was about £100. The reason we don't like fitting them is usually the fitment of them isn't very good at all. Sometimes you've got to bend brackets and stuff to make them fit properly. But the reason we've gone for it is it's Paula's van. It's £100. The genuine one was just over £400, so it's a £300 saving. There's no warranty with this, Paula. It is what it is. So yeah, making good progress. Still a fair bit to go to get the condenser out. I don't know if we're going to have to take this slam panel off or not.
Able to goes all the way around the back of the headlights down.
Oh, we won't be taking the slam panel off. We don't really do vans, so this is a favour. That's why we don't really know what we're doing. Even though I've got a Vito van, but my air conditioning works. The other thing we always replace when we're doing a condenser is the seals that go into the condenser where the pipes will go. The pipes go in there. Always change the seals on the end. They do go flat. Sometimes when you pull them out, they snag. Always change them. Yeah. Ooh, seals are blown away.
Oh, I need Sam. He said he wants to watch me get it out.
We've had to take a lot more off than we first planned. As you can see, headlights have had to come out and the front panel has had to be unbolted and moved forward so we can gain access to get that out. So go on, Nathan. Grand finale of this coming out. So you've got to be extremely careful when you're doing stuff like this because you could quite easily damage the main coolant radiator. So no pressure, Nath. So there we go. One condenser out, new one to go back in. Right, Nathan's got all the front end of the car back together, fans are back in, it's turned into quite a big job this. We found when we took the bumper off, damaged wiring to one of the parking sensors, which this is one of Paula's jobs to do, was the Parktronic wasn't working. So stumbling across that problem is a good thing. So we repair that while the bumper's off. You can buy a full wiring harness for the front bumper, but in this case we've got to do a repair. Paula's actually on holiday at the moment. She has no idea with fixing all these things, so I'm kind of treating her to fixing her air conditioning, fixing the Parktronic. Well, Nathan's done the air conditioning. So I'll show you this if you come under the light. We have unravelled the wiring and you can see where it's worn through. So what we are going to have to do is strip the wiring and basically we'll just solder that back together or maybe extend it. I don't think we'll have to extend it actually. So all the wires are stripped, we're going to give them a clean up. Right, so we need to clean these wires up a bit, and what we're going to use is we're going to use this solder connection. So that goes over the wires and there's a little tiny piece of solder in the middle, and that will not only melt the wires back together, it'll also insulate the wires. And then what we'll do is we'll get our cloth Tessa tape. We could do with a sponsor off Tessa tape. We might send them all our videos, we've mentioned them, and see if he does send us some free tape. We will re-insulate that, as you can see, the factory insulation, and it'll just look good as new. And hopefully that fixes that as well. That would be very good news. When she gets back off her holiday, we can tell her we've fixed some things for her. She's also had some side windows fitted while she's been away. So yeah, that'd be nice for her to come back. Side windows done, air conditioning fixed, Parktronic fixed. Obviously, once it's all back together, we are going to put it on the nitrogen test for a couple of hours to ensure there's no further leaks before we can regas it. then we'll go through some prices, and hopefully this has been a good enough video explanation as to if your aircon doesn't work, why doesn't it work, and what potentially could it be and how much could it be. Alright, so hopefully, come over it, strip the wires, put them back together. So these connections go over the top of the wire, which have twisted together. So you've got those two. So now what this does is, won't melt Nathan's toolbox, shrink down the red tabs to stop the solder slipping out of the ends. So not only is it a piece of heat shrink, and then we melt the solder in the middle. See it going? And that is it. So that is a good, solid, weatherproof repair. As I explained before, we'll tape it all back up. I think we can agree that now looks like factory finish, and providing we've got no faulty parking sensors, that should fix that fault. So we'll get that fitted back to the bumper, get the bumper back on the van, get it nitrogen tested, then we'll move on to regassing it. Alright, so what we're going to do now is all back together, get it outside, test the parking sensors by driving and reversing into walls, but with the parking sensors are now on, which is good, you can hear them. So I know we've repaired the front parking sensors, but I'm going to test the rear as well. And then we can leave it in the car park on the nitrogen test for a couple of hours, make sure we've got no leaks. So rears, we've actually got a fault on the rears as well. Fronts are now working, but the rears, it's showing that we're up against a wall when we're not. Looks like we've still got a fault on the parking system. So fronts now, forward, 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 just driving up to some posts. Right, we've got front parking sensors working. Rears, we've got, it thinks there's something behind us when there's not on the right hand rear, so we could do with having a look into that. Oh, I was hoping that was going to cure that. Well, we've got fronts, it's a good start. Right, let's get it on the nitrogen test, leave it for a couple of hours, get this air conditioning fixed, and we can come back to parking sensors. This is actually an air conditioning video, which has led on to some other issues. Couple of while you're in there's. Right, that's that. Right, see you in a couple of hours.
2 hours later.
Right, Nathan has carried out the nitrogen test. He doesn't want to be on camera. I feel like I'm taking all the credit for this job, but I've actually not had much to do with it. Anyway, nitrogen test, we left it on for 2.5 hours and the pressure didn't drop at all. That was the only leak on the car, so that's good news. So now we're going to re-gas the car. We need to do what they call a vacuum test. So because this car has had a leak and the aircon system has been exposed to moisture, I'll say, it's had an open wound, we need the vacuum test to get as much moisture out of the system as we can to ensure the air conditioning system is working as efficiently as possible. When you're having a regas, it's not a case of just pumping the gas in. So we're going to do a 1 hour vacuum. If the system sucks out any oil, it automatically measures it and inserts fresh oil back in the system. How much gas does this take? Bottom left. So, thank you, Nathan. Most Mercedes have a sticker on it to give us an indication of how much gas it goes in. 0.53, so that's 530 grams. Doesn't seem a lot, that, for a van, actually. I thought it'd be a bit more than that. Anyway, 530, enter, start, open high pressure taps. So that is now on its vacuum test. So we've now got to leave that for a further 60 minutes until it starts the regas. So it's 60 minutes before it even puts the gas in. And then we've got more tests to do once the gas is in. Vacuum test is done. It's injected the gas into the air conditioning system. So now you can see on the manual gauges, we've got just above 5 bar on the high and low pressure. So now we can leave the gauges on the car, close the tap, so we're just getting a nice mechanical reading. Aircon on, full speed, give it a rev. It's like I'm at the red light district. Doesn't feel like it's getting cold. Right, so what we're looking for is the pressure should be building up, and then when it reaches optimum pressure, the fans should kick in and the pressure should come down. They're not going up and down. We need to plug it in on the diagnostics. When you regas a Mercedes, I'm only talking about Mercedes here, don't know about other models, sometimes the air conditioning won't work until you've cleared the low pressure fault code. I'll just check it. Yeah, that's not on. And then hopefully we're back in business. If not, we've got something else going on. But we've got a sealed system, we've got pressure, but the pump isn't kicking in from what we can tell off the gauges. Diagnostics is plugged in. Let's go into automatic air conditioning, fault codes. Signal from refrigerant pressure sensor is faulty. Plugged it in?
Yeah, I plugged it in. I can show you now if you want.
Right, let's see if we've got an actual value of the pressure sensor. Temperature sensor is registering 0 bar. So it is either not plugged in, which would be Nathan's fault, or it's faulty, and me and Nathan were actually talking about this off camera, that it would be a very good while you're in there.
Yep, plugged in.
So obviously we had no pressure to begin with, so that sensor reading of 0 would tally up with what we was getting. So we were discussing that it'd be a good while you're in there on a Vito, especially because, say, it's tricky to get to, but
A little bit awkward.
yeah, possibly a bit of corrosion in the pins here. Unplug it, just give it a little clean. So we've got 0 pressure reading at the sensor. Yeah, I think we've jinxed ourselves because, as I say, me and Nathan were saying, oh, it'd be a good while you're in there. That was in a rush and we couldn't get one. We were trying to get this done before Paula comes back off a holiday. I need to do a few more tests, but it's looking like we've got a faulty pressure sensor as well. And to change the sensor, we've got to take the gas back out and then do the whole vacuum and regas again. That is so annoying. I mean, it's you can change it there without too much problem, to be fair. So not the ending we was after. Got to order a pressure sensor and we'll see you in a couple of days. At least Paula's going to get in the van and she just won't know that we've done any work to it because it still don't work. So there you go.
3 days later.
So we are back on with Paula's van. The air conditioning pressure switch has arrived. That's actually the old one. I've already fitted the new one. Only took a couple of minutes. That switch was £120 plus VAT for that pressure switch. So I've had to extract the gas again, fit the switch. I'm now doing the whole vacuum test and regas again. Get it back on the diagnostics, make sure we're registering pressure and we're getting aircon, and this is the van done. We've also rectified the rear parking sensor. It looks like we just had a bit of a dirty contact because it was thought there was something there all the time. Took it off, cleaned it, put it back on. It seems to be behaving itself, but she's actually back off her holidays now, so she's quite suspicious as to why is a van in the workshop. So I wanted her to come back and it for her to get in it and drive it and realise things are working again, but not to be. Anyway, let's get this finished off, get it all done and go through a few prices of how much this would cost. Right, sensor is fitted and air conditioning regassed again, and I can confirm it is freezing cold in here. We've got really good air conditioning pressure. We've now got pressure on the machine. I've just got my little machine and the open circuit fault has gone to stored, whereas before it was a current fault and we could not get rid of it. Good while you're in there, guys, change your pressure sensor. However, it was an expensive item on this occasion. On the cars, they're about half of that price. A lot of money, but yeah, it is freezing cold in here, so just got to get rid of that code. We got there in the end. Basically, hopefully this has been a good demonstration of why you can't always just regas your car. So to give you an idea how much this would cost, so bear in mind this has had a nitrogen test, a condenser, a pressure sensor, another nitrogen test and a regas. So you could say it's had 5. Anyway, you get the point. The total for this, my maths isn't great, but my calculator's really good at maths. I've actually already done the maths, but I've forgot the pressure sensor. We've used an aftermarket condenser, as you know. The reason being, the genuine one was £435, including VAT. We don't really like using them on the Mercs. They don't usually fit that great, but I have to say this one was okay. It wasn't bad. Regas, £80. That's using the old style gas. Some places are dearer, some places are cheaper. This is just what we charge. If you've got a newer car, it might use the later style gas, in which case it's more expensive. This case, Regas, 80. Condenser, 100. Labour, we've done 4 hours, half a day's work at 380. And a nitrogen test is 40. And the pressure switch was 120. So that is £720 plus the VAT, which is £864. If that was with the genuine condenser, we would be into excess of £1,1200, something like that. Hopefully that's been a good lesson on air conditioning. It's still on the test now as I'm monitoring pressures. Let's get it off the machine. Codes are gone, freezing cold. We'll go and get Paula and wrap this video up.
Just filming me?
Yeah.
I'm a big meathead on it.
You'll be fine.
Don't I do it that way to film you?
No, film it selfie.
What, I've got a potato head? It's freezing in here! Oh my god! Is it on?
What?
Is it filming?
Yeah, we're
Oh,
on.
I thought I had to press something.
Yeah, we're
I
on.
wasn't joking, it's actually freezing. I'm actually cold.
Can you see us? So
I'll
fix your
probably see
aircon if you've
I
not
can tell.
noticed.
It's freezing.
So that's us. What did you for, mate? So you can go now.
Oh,
While you've been away, me and Nathan have been fixing your aircon. So we fixed your aircon, which turned into a slightly bigger job than anticipated.
oh. Did you fix them?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So you got front and rear parking.
Oh,
Did you
sneaky.
remember
No,
that? They
yeah, they
didn't
had a
work.
fault. I've had that on the sheet before, but I didn't know you fixed
So
them.
we found a wiring issue on the fronts. On the rear, we've got away with cleaning some plugs up. Just nearly reversed into Paula's brand new Aldi EQ e-tron something. So yeah, you've got front and rear parking sensors now working.
Good, because I need
Freezing
them.
cold air conditioning.
It is actually freezing.
And
I
that's
should
it.
have drove. Oh, perfect, thank you. I could give it a clean actually.
So I've done the bill, mate. It's about 850 quid that you owe me.
While I've been away. Oh, perfect, thank you. I'm
So
excited.
that's the end of the video. Thanks everybody for watching. If you've not liked and subscribed already, make sure you hit the like, subscribe and notification bell button. If you'd like to purchase any of our merchandise, please do so. Paula is currently wearing.
The hoodie.
And we'll see you on the next one. That's it, mate.
Can't believe how cold it is.
There's some button on the top, mate.
This one?
Hard,
Oh,
yeah.
that one?